It sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Every one of us, we have to resist the temptation to want that instant gratification. Why it sucks to be a black young man in America. Because Welcome back, everybody. You are watching or listening to the Dream Life Podcast. My name is Steve Buck, and I am your host. And my co-host, as usual, who's here with me is
Gabie.
In our last episode, I forgot to point out that Gabby's shirt, as you can see, it says DJ Gabie the Gift. And we were talking about using our gifts in the last episode. And so that's what Gabie does to use his gift, the DJ. So just to remind our audience or people who aren't familiar with us, who are watching for the first time, Gabie, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish is we want to help young African-American men learn that they can live the American dream.
Right.
As we always say, will this work for anybody else? Absolutely. It will work for anybody. However, you and I are doing this for the African-American community.
Right.
All right. And I'll say it again. I'll probably say it on every broadcast. It's the fact that the reason that we're doing it is that the young African-American community has been targeted. They've been downtrodden. They've been beaten down. And they've been controlled socially on purpose by the powers that be. And so once we realized this, we decided, we need to do something about this.
Right.
Okay. And so to the extent that we can and to the extent that you want to, we're going to bring you out of that bondage and bring you into the promised land. So the name of this episode is It Sucks to Be You, but it doesn't have to. And, I love Gold Rush. Gold Rush is probably my favorite TV show. I think it's on Discovery Channel or something like that. Okay. And, it's about gold miners and they're up in the Yukon and Alaska and the Bering Sea and, the streams and creeks up in Alaska. Tony Beach, they call him the king of the Klondike because he's the guy that really started pounding, getting a lot of gold out of the Yukon. And, whenever somebody would complain to him, he would say, well, it sucks to be you. And I always love to contemplate things that people say. Say, all right, let's break down your statement a little bit, okay? It sucks to be you. Now, that statement that he's making basically is demonstrating that, all right, well, if something bad happened to you or if you don't like your situation or whatever, just a statement, hey, it sucks to be you. It sucks that, your situation isn't that good. And the first time I heard it, I was just like, oh, well, that doesn't really sound very nice. But then it dawned on me. I says, well, it's okay that he says that. And I'm going to try to explain to you why. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tony Beats is a self-made millionaire. Okay. He came over here from one of the Scandinavian countries. I want to say maybe Norway or Sweden, one of those. And he used to milk cows. Mm-hmm. Okay. He used to be a farmer back then. And he decided he wanted to come to North America. He'd pick Canada instead of the U.S. and he wanted to live the American dream. So he came over here and he worked a bunch of jobs and finally he decided that he wanted to go gold mining. Okay. And that was going to be his thing. And when I put it in the context of that statement, it sucks to be you. Tony Beats understands that, yeah, you might be in a bad situation, but you don't have to stay there. You can work your way out of that bad situation.
Right.
So, hence the name or the title of today's episode. Now, today, I can't relate to that statement because it doesn't suck to be me. It just doesn't. At one point in time, it did, okay? But, for a long time now, I can't say that. It doesn't suck to be me. I mean, it's not... It's a pretty good gig that I'm running right now, okay? But there was a point in time in my life, and there was a point in time in your life where we could look at our lives and we could say, it sucks to be me.
Yeah.
Okay? As I reflect back on that time period, I was responsible for most of it.
Yeah, right.
Not all of it. I wasn't responsible for all of it, okay? But I was responsible for most of it. And so I had to take responsibility for it sucking to be me. And okay, so once I figured out it sucks to be me, all right, why does it suck to be me? I got some work to do.
Right.
Okay. That's what I like to say. I mean, it sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. So for those of you in our audience who are looking in the mirror and they're saying, it sucks to be me. It sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. There's a tremendous amount of stuff that you can do in order to start to turn the tide. Now, a few episodes ago, we talked about the Pilgrims.
Right.
And when the Pilgrims got chased out of England, okay, they went over to the Netherlands for 13 years before they ever departed on the Mayflower and headed over to Plymouth Rock. So, a lot of people think that, that the Pilgrims, that, they just left England and they just went to the United States and they landed on Plymouth Rock. And no, it's not like that at all. The Pilgrims actually, they were persecuted to no end. They were persecuted and driven out of England, go over to the Netherlands for 13 years before God provides the pathway for them, to make that journey. They make that journey. They have half of the people die, okay, in that first winter. Between the trip over there in the first winter, like out of 100 some people, 47 are left. Okay. And the captain of the ship says, oh, well, for those of us who survived, we can get back on the ship and we can go back to England. How many people wanted to go back to England? None, not one. There wasn't one person who wanted to go back to the tyranny that they lived under. They would rather die. They would rather die than go back to England and live under tyranny, okay? And so when you have license plates like from New Hampshire that say live free or die, that's what it means. Live free or die means I would rather die than go back to England to live under the tyranny of the king and his minions. And that's what it is. You've got this guy up on top, and he's got all these minions going around. And what are the minions doing?
Following their orders.
That's right. Following their orders, telling everybody what to do. And I'm like, get away from me. I can run my own life. I don't need you to tell me, if I can go to church, what God I can worship, what music I can listen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what tyrants do. Tyrants want to sit back, sit on their throne, and tell everybody else what to do all day long.
Right.
Okay? And do you know what our founding fathers said that you do with people like that? You shoot them. That's why we have a Second Amendment. People who want to tell you what to do, okay, because they want to exercise tyranny over you. And there's a difference between tyranny and authority, okay? Because yes, we need some laws. We need something to regulate society,
right,
so that it's not the wild, wild west. And there's a difference between governing and moderating and tyranny. The people who work on moderating and governing, that's fine, but it's a very short walk to tyranny,
right,
from governing, okay? And we need to pay attention to that. So, but our founding fathers, they were very clear. You got a tyrant, just shoot him. Just shoot him. Get rid of him, right? Because he's not going to stop being a tyrant until you shoot him and he's dead.
Right.
Just get rid of him. All right. So we've talked at length about the different steps that we need to take to change our situation.
Right. And
again, hopefully by now, our audience is getting to a point where they're adjusting and they're calibrating their mind so that they understand that they're not going to let the devil rob them from their prosperity, right, that pathway, or their ability to live the American dream. And as I started to allude to in the last episode, the glorious things that are coming to the United States of America in 2024, they're unfathomable for most people. And I'm saying 99.999% of the people. It's unfathomable to understand and to know what's coming. And we're going to really start to dig into that in our next episode, because our next episode is, we're going to do a freestyle part 1 and a freestyle part 2 coming up. But right now, we're going to do a little bit of review, okay? I want to drop back to that Oliver Anthony song. And that song captures the world that we live in today. Oh, and the reason that I want to capture that is because in our freestyle episode, we're going to contrast the world that he's singing about in that song. Okay? We're going to contrast that shit show with the glorious show that's coming. All right? So let's do that right now. All right? And I've got to put some commentary in between here, just, because of YouTube rules. But here we go.
Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away.
Okay, let's solidify this picture. Okay, he's starting off, like we said on the last show. Okay, people. There's a lot of people, lots and lots and lots and lots of people. They're selling their soul, working all day, getting taken advantage with overtime hours for bullshit pay. That's what he's saying. Again, he's painting a picture for the shit show that we got going.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
For people like you and people, he's saying just us average folks, just us average person, right? Just getting up every day, going to work,
Right.
coming home, you know. And so this is the 98th percentile of the people.
You wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
So people just waking up every morning like, when is this going to change? I just want to wake up one morning and just all this stuff, getting taxed to death, not being able to get ahead. I can't even fix my car. I'm running on bald tires. Right? When is it gonna come to an end? God, did you put me on Earth to run on bald tires? No, of course he didn't.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Okay. So we all know what these rich men north of Richmond are doing to us.
Right.
All right. And it's going to be very exciting once we get into the next episode, the freestyle episode, where I begin to tell our audience what's going to happen to them rich men north of Richmond.
Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men north of Richmond.
We're just going to listen to that one again right here.
But I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
Your dollar ain't shit. Gabby, do you realize that when the banksters created the Federal Reserve Bank is owned by the Rothschild family, not the United States government. They created the Federal Reserve in 2013, and they've been robbing us, chiseling away percentages at a time. $1 in 2013 in buying power, that same buying dollar will buy 3%, 3 pennies out of $1, where it used to buy 100 things. Now it can only buy 3 things. Okay. That's what, when I talk about the banksters and the fraud of the banksters and inflation, that's what I'm talking about. And when he's saying the dollar ain't shit because they chisel away. These they're smart. They don't do it all at once. They don't do it in a big bang and people are like, oh, what's going on? No, they just chisel you away a little bit at a time. They just shave you 1%. Okay, so they shave 1% for 100 years, and guess what? You end up at 3 pennies.
Cause the rich men north of Richmond. I wish politicians would look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord,
Yeah, so there's a lot of politicians, and we're gonna be digging deep into that in our freestyle here coming up. But it's like these politicians, they sit back and they act like they're looking out for this person and that person. Okay, now you're not looking out for anybody. Just one thing. Okay, drugs. We've got the most powerful military on the entire planet. We could kill 30 million people in 10 minutes. 30 million people we can kill in 10 minutes with our military. You mean to tell me that we can't shut down every boat, every plane, every underground tunnel, every single solitary drug route into this country? You mean to tell me we can't do that? Bullshit. And that tells us what? If we can shut it down and we don't, what do they call that?
Espionage.
No, they call it a business. It's a business. Okay? If you're allowing the flow of commerce, and it is commerce, albeit dirty commerce, it's commerce. It's a business. Okay? Again, we're going to get into this more in the freestyle, but just begin to think about these things, because we're talking about this idea that it sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to, okay? Drugs is the number one problem for the young African-American community. Why it sucks to be a black young man in America, because the only adrenaline rush that you're going to get this week is probably from some drugs, pot, whatever, okay? And we're leaving that all behind, and get ready to leave it behind, because when I tell you that the drugs are going to stop, the drugs are going to stop. They're going to shut the drugs down. There's not going to be drugs. There's not going to be one drug to be found in the United States of America sold on the streets. That's where we're going. And we better be ready to do something different with our time when that happens. So it doesn't have to suck to be you, but you have to take responsibility, and you have to begin to take the steps that we're teaching you how to do and start moving in that direction.
Right.
Now, let's just for a minute talk about the frustration, the hardship. Every one of us, we have to resist the temptation to want that instant gratification. Okay, because that's how they frustrate people, is that they basically condition people into thinking that instant gratification, and it doesn't take time, patience, effort, and energy to earn something. Okay. I'm going to tell every one of you men out there right now, if you think it's going to be easy, if you think it's going to be quick, go talk to one of the pilgrims who was in the Netherlands for 13 years waiting for their boat ride over to the United States. In the meantime, they were getting chased by the English army.
Or somebody that worked for P. Diddy for 10 years and didn't get a check cut.
That's right. There you have it. We've got to resist the temptation, the thought of it happening instantaneously, because it doesn't work that way.
I can wait for
Okay. If it does for you, you're one of those 1 in 330 million people that won the lottery.
Right.
Okay. So you're probably not going to be that one person. You're probably going to be one of the other 330 million. So it's going to take work. So that brings us back to tenacity. Okay. And I just want to give everybody the definition and some synonyms for tenacity. Tenacity basically means to just, you never give up. You never stop. You never, ever give up. You just keep on going. Tenacity is courage, having metal. I'm not talking about metal, metal like the steel. I'm talking about
Not like heavy metal.
right. Right. Having metal, mettle. All right. And what is metal? Metal is backbone. Metal is that thing. I'm here and you're not moving me, and I'm not going anywhere. That's metal. Spirit, resolution, tenacity mean mental or moral strength to resist opposition, danger, or hardship. Now let's do that again, because it's, once isn't enough. They mean mental or moral strength to resist opposition, danger, or hardship. And we've talked about it several times. These are the things. If you're going to live the American dream, you're going to see people resisting you. You're going to encounter opposition. You're going to encounter danger, and you're going to encounter hardship.
Right.
So this idea of you've got to have tenacity. You got to know it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. You got to have backbone. You got to have metal. And these are things that you have to have. And the quicker that you get and you build these qualities within your character, the quicker that you're going to be leaving the starting gate, and the quicker you're going to get to the finish line. So have these things. And I think that's it. I think we've covered everything on that subject for today. So in our next episode, we're going to be doing some deep dives in our next episode. So everybody, thank you for joining myself, Gabby. Send in emails, ask us questions, get ready for our live coming up, and thank you for tuning in.